Well, got a bit to cover today. I might even get to use some timestamps. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Like I said in the intro, we have a little bit to cover today. There's going to be a few things that I want to talk about. First and foremost is just a little update of how I'm getting back to my training. Obviously, starting to bring the mileage up a little bit more now on the bike. Still no running yet. I'm still inside. So we did a ride this morning, which was about an hour 35. Pretty much all in zone 2. And during that ride, I managed to get to do a few little intervals up to sort of around 3 up to I think almost 400 watts. One of them was for about a minute, and everything felt really strong. So yeah, it's nice to kind of feel like I'm getting back to normal now, and even daft little things like the pulsing around, the scars kind of going away. I still do have the staples in at the moment, but I think the nurses were a little bit concerned with it being a head wound, and it's close to an old scar. Sometimes the skin takes a little longer, so hopefully they'll be out on Monday. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to get back to a bit more normal training. So today, yeah, I tried to be quite disciplined, stay right in zone 2. I've got the distribution up on the screen here now. You can see it was an hour and a half was the target. I've got 127 of the whole ride right in zone 2 for me. So I mean, this is all going to be good, really base training, endurance on the bike. So when I do get back to where I can do some more intense training, this should all help. So yeah, and hopefully it means I can keep these. I don't have to keep these embolism socks on so much, because if you stay mobile, obviously it's less of an issue. But I'll keep wearing them for now. Obviously, the key is it's just listening to your body. It's again, I'm slowly progressing it. There's always that term in exercise, doesn't matter whether it's weights or endurance, it's sort of progressively overloading. It's just slowly building up to things and trying to work up to things. Don't go too hard out the gate, because it's an easy way to hurt yourself. So yeah, just try and listen to your body, and yeah, just try and keep on top of things. I've seen quite a lot of things on training channels for like various forms of training recently, to do about the importance of sleep, and I think it is quite an important topic to cover. I mean, you'll probably find very few people who will tell you that sleep isn't as important to your training for any of your goals, really, whether it's you want to look better or you want to build endurance. It's just as important as any other part of your training, and it needs to be, I wouldn't so much say programmed in, but you do need to place somewhat of an emphasis on it. But with that, I think comes a little bit of an issue I seem to be spotting, and it surrounds things like these. I mentioned before, obviously I use the 735 because I do like training data, but I think with sleep it almost seems to come at a bit of a price. I've seen quite a few people recently, they're almost focusing more on the quality of the sleep that their Garmin or their Fitbit or whatever they're using is telling them they're getting, rather than how that quality of sleep's feeling to them. And the way I kind of thought about it and I've been guilty of this as well, because I know that I need to sleep for the upstairs to heal, and I'm going to bed on a night and I'm putting my Garmin on and I'm thinking, oh, I need to get to sleep, because otherwise it's going to say I'm in light sleep, or it's going to say that I'm restless, and it's not really conformative to having good sleep. Now I will say, however, I mean, when the nights I just put it on, forget all about it, go to sleep, I'm absolutely fine. I'm getting a good like 8, 9, 10 hours for most of the time, and obviously some of it's disturbed because I've got things like taking quite strong steroids at the moment. And they do make you a little bit hyperactive. You wake up in the night hungry almost. It's like, I mean, I woke up the other night at 3 in the morning looking for a snack, and so that you've already got all these hurdles post surgery to try and get good sleep, even just the discomfort and the pain from your wounds, and then obviously you have the stress. I mean, stress recovering from an injury is just the same as stress recovering from overtraining, and it's just the same as stress from being stressed to death in your job. The hormone cortisol is essentially the same it has the same effect. It doesn't matter how you're generating it and why it's spiking in your system. But that said, just try not to stress about it. It's like, it's easier said than done. But yeah, just have a nice routine. Get your head down. I mean, I would probably avoid screens maybe, but stick an audiobook in, put some soft music on, just get your head down, clap out. And that's all you need to worry about. I think if you start chasing sleep, it's just going to become more elusive to you. So, I mean, it is something, I think, if you're training a lot, try and think about your routine on an evening, get chilled out a little bit earlier, get your head down a bit earlier, and just, yeah, try and get as much sleep as you can. But don't stress if you jump into bed and you can't sleep, because it's just going to make it worse. Okay, so that kind of brings us to part 3 of the video, I suppose. And that's concerning a little bit of news regarding some charity work that I'm going to be looking to do. Yesterday, I had a conversation with a lad called Joe from the Brain Tumour Research Charity. I'd been in touch with them because obviously it's a charity that's obviously close to what's happened to me. They help obviously fund research for centres of excellence, and actually they were kind of involved in my first surgery. They also have an involvement with the Tessa Jowell Brain Tumour Fund. I think that's its name anyway. It's essentially a pot of money that the government put aside, that Tessa Jowell campaigned for when before she lost her fight against brain cancer a few years ago. And actually, when I got my first surgery, I had a dye called 5ALA dye. It was what's called a guided resection. So it was just like a little shot glass about this. Apparently it cost about £5,000, this little drink. Just tasted like a bit of lemon juice. And bang the shot down, and 2 hours later they can turn all the lights off in the operating theatre, put an ultraviolet light on the microscope, and your tumour, essentially, if it's any high-grade material or any cancerous material, essentially will glow pink under ultraviolet light because of this dye. So it allows the surgeons a real-time view of what they're working with, rather than having to rely on MRIs that even at a couple of days old might have changed. So it just gives them a much more accurate picture. And I mean, I think that was part and parcel as to why I recovered so fast the first time. But it is expensive, and there are other things that they're looking to do along a similar route. And this sort of stuff, it's expensive to fund. So to be involved with a charity like this and raise money for them for the Ironman is something that I'm really looking forward to doing. I had a really good chat with the lad yesterday, and to be fair, I mean, both of us seem quite excited to see how much money we can raise. So you'll start seeing things in the description now. There'll be a link to the Just Giving page. Obviously, I'm not here to pressure anybody to give anything they don't want to, or they're not comfortable with, or anything like that. But it would be a nice little legacy of the channel if we can sort of get that up a bit. And one of the things that we're going to do, not just for the Ironman, I'm looking to do some other things like it might be fun to do some like nice little endurance challenges, even smaller ones, just to try and raise a bit more funds. And I just think it would be a nice goal over the next year or so while we're training to try and see how much of a pot of money we can get into brain tumour research. It does quite sadly lag behind most areas of cancer research. I mean, I think it gets about 10% of the funding that most cancer research gets in the UK, but by proportion of the amount of people it kills, it's actually the biggest killer of under 40s. So it is an important area. A lot of the basic questions about how brain tumours start, they grow, they progress, these are simple questions, but they've got very difficult answers. And they're answers that have been answered in some cancers, which almost make them routine to treat these days, and they're nowhere near known about them in brain tumours yet. So it is a fantastic cause, and if anybody has any good ideas of sort of like challenges for we could look at, I mean, one that popped to mind earlier on today, there would be, I could maybe do a live stream sort of like an Everesting or something like that on Zwift, if people would be interested. I mean, it would be something I'll have to train for because I'm not a strong enough cyclist to Everest at the moment. But but I mean, things like that would be a good one, or any virtual challenges. And if we could get other people involved, I think that would be really cool. But yeah, so if you start seeing a few links appearing around the channel and stuff like that, don't panic or anything like that. Obviously, I'm not receiving any money or anything for it. It's just to try and raise awareness. And yeah, hopefully it'll make a difference and we can raise a bit of cash. I can't remember the number off my top of my head. I think it's 2,970 quid is the goal I've put on Just Giving. That represents 1 day of research in one of the centres, so it's an expensive job. So yeah, anything that we can raise, it's all going to go somewhere good, and hopefully give people the opportunities to sort of be fit and recover from cutting edge treatments like I got on my first one. So yeah, if you have the opportunity, consider it. I'd appreciate that. So yeah, I'll leave that there. Hopefully, like I say, there's something of interest in here somewhere, and yeah, looking forward to see where things go from here, and hopefully back out training soon, and catch you next time.